What's happening, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. This is Dr. Martin. Thank you so much, guys, for 10,000 subscribers. And right now, let me quickly check, like we're sitting on 11,600 subscribers. And thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming back. And once again, you know what it is, you know what's up. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you like this current video, comment on the comment section so you can also be featured like other kids who will be featured on this video, and make sure that you do subscribe. This is Dr. Martin. Thank you so much for coming back. I know that we haven't recorded anything for the past week, but there has been stuff that we have been working on to basically make sure that you guys are, benefiting everything and anything that you can benefit from us, as we are giving you the value that we are trying to bring to. So as you guys can see on today's video, we have an interesting topic that we're going to cover, but before that, may you quickly stay there and look at my intro. Let's go. So as you guys would know, this is a common thing that we do. So we basically go through the comments from the previous video that we had, and I want to give a shout out to 3 individuals as per usual. And the first person that we have today on the list is basically Conscious EQ. He says, "You always fill us with true wisdom and argue for nothing, an urge for not giving up. Thank God for blessing us with someone like you, Doctor, and may God grant you more strength and wisdom to continue and be a blessing." Thank you so much, bro, for being a part of the channel. We appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for being here as well and dropping that comment as well. And the second one that we have over here is we've got Exclusive VidK Pro. He says, "I'd like to leave my thoughts here when it comes to cutting losses quickly. It's not easy to quickly cut losses when you're a swing trader or a day trader. Sometimes all you need is to have patience and let your trades run. Sometimes we exit too early and the trade goes in the direction after. Otherwise, don't keep these videos coming. Great content is always up." I agree with you 100% that you don't really get to obviously always cut losses early. So sometimes, if you are on a swing trade and you know that the trade is still within structure, then you will be able to hold the trade and obviously not risk as a day trader who's looking for probably a pullback move or like a continuation move, depending on the setup that's obviously been created over there. So it really depends on what it is that you're looking at, and if you are obviously looking at the same things that we're looking at, then you will be able to obviously hold your trades a bit longer or even cut trades a bit quicker, depending on the kind of a trade that you're looking at that particular moment. And thank you so much, bro, for that comment, and I appreciate you as well. And the next one is Patu Chetso Mutwanamba. He says, "Always hyped to be here, fam. Your wisdom and advices are always hit home. At a certain point, we've struggled and sometimes still struggle with those things you mentioned, but what's more important is how we learn from them. It's always good to learn from our mistakes, but it doesn't mean that we should learn the hard way." Thanks, Doc, so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Patu, for leaving that comment, that insightful comment. I truly appreciate it. As you know, guys, we are here to basically give up knowledge and information that is valuable to basically change your life as a trader, and we want to see you advance and grow as a trader. So today's video, I have 3 things that I need you guys to basically look at as you are on the quest of actually becoming the better trader that you want to be. So I've got 3 things that I'm going to mention today from today's video that are going to help you, and these are the steps you will take before you basically take a position, or rather basically execute a trade as you are obviously on your trading career. So the first one that I have is obviously you always want to look for the market trend. Where's the market trend? Is the market trading up or down? This is the first thing that I want you to see. And obviously, as I am projecting on the screen right now, you guys can see that even as I am projecting. So I'm going to go to the H4 time frame on this particular chart that we're looking at. I'm looking at Euro USD, and I'm going to go to the H4 time frame because I do believe that the H4 time frame basically has more depth and and more value than smaller time frames. So for me, the high time frame structure is always relevant, and it kind of helps me understand exactly where the market is trending into. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is obviously look at the overall structure of the market, and that we can see even from a high time frame, particularly the daily time frame, depending on whatever it is that you're looking at. So the first thing that we are able to see is that from last year, actually, so if you look at the left hand side, last year November, around August, September, October, November, the market has actually been ranging around this area, and from there we did get a break to the upside. From there the market pulled back to give us a higher low that is obviously higher than the previous low, and then we do have market coming back to that level to give us a high that's obviously lower than the previous high. So the market came back to retest again these lower reaches that were printed even from earlier in the year, and from that the market came back, failed to break past this high. So if you look at what is happening over here, you are able to see that the market never really got to break past these structural highs that were printed even from the left hand side, and then from there the market has just been sinking. And right now what is happening is that the market didn't really break past these lows. So with how this structure has been looking like from the daily time frame, I would have obviously expected that the markets would obviously break to the lower time frame, to the downside. I mean, based on how we are sitting over here, that we do have that high and this low and this lower high. Market gave us a lower low over there, came back to that same high. So I would have expected that the markets would obviously break to the downside. So looking at what we do have over here as well, I am able to see, if I do zoom into the structure that is being formed over there, I am able to see that the market came to that level. That's a high price, came back to this low price, came back to give us a high price that's obviously lower than the previous high price. So the market is now squeezing towards the downside, and it's giving us a direction that's obviously looking towards the downside direction. So I am obviously looking at this particular market to probably push a bit further down before we can obviously see some kind of reaction on this low region that the market printed. So for now we do have this area over here, which is now our current high that we do have, and we haven't really broken past that high based on this particular formation. So if you do look at this formation, you will see that you did have a push and an impulse. So you have that's a correction. You did have an impulse, and then you had a correction to the highs, and then the impulse to the downside, correction came back straight into the same region, forming a double top pattern. So over there I do expect obviously that the market will come and break towards the downside. So that's hypothetically what I'm looking at, but obviously I will not think ahead of the markets. I will allow the markets to let me know exactly where they are trading into. So now the second thing that we do have is obviously going to the H4 time frame, so we're going to the H4 time frame to basically see exactly what it is that we do have. So on the H4 time frame, we are able to see how these structural highs actually played a major role on how the structure actually dropped on this particular market. So based on how we dropped over there on the highs over there, this was quite an expected move if you were trading obviously with this particular setup in mind. So you would have known that the markets were gonna obviously drop from there. So for trendline traders, obviously what they are looking at right now is the fact that the markets obviously broke past this counter trend line. So that's another thing that they're looking at, that the markets did break out of this counter trend line, and looking how now the structure is forming, you are able to see that okay, the markets came to this area to give us lower highs from the current highs that we did have, and right now we just broke past these lows. So for me right now, I will be looking to basically execute obviously shorts around this region. This is not a pair that I trade, but if I were to trade this, I would obviously look at shorting this particular pair over there. So if you do take a setup based on this time frame, your stops would slightly be above that previous high, and obviously your take profits around this particular low. So if you look at the risk to reward, you're risking about 99 pips to make up 102. So that's a 1-to-1. That is almost like a 1:1 risk ratio that you do have in this particular market. So you're risking 43 pips to make up 105. So that's quite a lot actually. So that's a 1:2, obviously. That's a 1:2 roundabout. So you're looking at risking 1 to make up 2. So this is a good risk to reward ratio that you would take on this particular trade. So that's the first thing that you look for. So once we've got this out of the way, then we need to understand what is the second thing that you obviously want to look for when you are executing this particular trade setup that we are looking at right now on Euro USD. So the second thing that I would obviously look for is to obviously look for my significant support and resistance levels, which in this case I have drawn. If I'm being honest, if you go to this particular chart, the same zone that I drew over there, that's the same level that I would obviously want to spot and identify on this particular setup to make sure that I do get an entry around there. And the last one that I want to give you guys is obviously candlestick formation. So candlesticks actually play a major role and part in your trading, because then if you do understand how candlesticks work and how they form, then that can basically take your trading to the next level. You could be able to basically be a trader that is quite profitable just by understanding how candlesticks work as well. So for me, I obviously look for my significant patterns on a smaller time frame. So the patterns to look for would be, your doji formations, your spinning tops, and all those candlesticks formation that you can obviously go look up on the internet. But for me, I would obviously look for candlestick formations. For me right now, I am not quite happy with this particular formation that we do have over here, because this candlestick hasn't fully closed as yet. And looking at how this particular market is sitting, I wouldn't even execute based on this time frame, because this kind of looks like it wants to break above. It looks like it wants to go create a higher high if you look at this particular time frame. But if you go to a smaller time frame, say the M15 time frame, you would be able to basically see exactly what you're looking for. So on the M15 time frame, we do see even on the right hand side that we've got about 7 minutes to close. We did have an indecision candlestick over there, or rather a reversal candlestick, and the market gave us that bearish bearish variation candlestick. Gave us that momentum to the downside. So if this candlestick does close as a bearish candlestick, this does confirm to us that this particular market will be a market that will drop actually to the downside. And if I do take a position based on this time frame, then my stops would also be slightly lower than the higher time frame stops. So these are things that you would look for before you actually execute a trade. I hope, guys, these points that I just gave you guys are points that are really going to help you become a better trader even in your trading career. So from me to you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, if you're new to this channel, please make sure that you don't leave before you subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment below so that we know exactly how you felt about this current video. Also, do make sure that you like this video, and go do check out my Instagram that I'm going to put out on the description as well to see me on a daily basis. I know on YouTube I come like once or twice a week, but on Instagram you'll see me there every single day. I'm joking, guys, but anyway, thank you so much for watching this current video. Do make sure that you share the video with your friends. Do make sure that if you are new to this channel, subscribe to this channel, because there's more stuff that is coming. And thank you so much. Bless up.